Hello, I'm Mr. Beylerian, and I am your child's teacher for an online course, which is a grade 12 Business Leadership and Management Fundamentals course. I'm making this short video to give you a glimpse into the learning environment that your child is going to experience because it is so foreign to many people. It's not the way you and I went to high school, even though we may not have gone to high school at the same decade. But the way we run things now, especially online, is completely foreign to anyone who is not part of the system and involved with it directly. So the tool that we're using here is a product by a company called Desire to Learn. The product's name is Brightspace. Some people call it D2L, the Virtual Learning Environment, VLE. So this is what is used by 58 school boards across Ontario. And having said that, let you know that your child may be coming from any one of those 58 school boards and is my student. So I serve students across Ontario. Even though I'm sitting here in southeastern Ontario, my students come from all over the province. And this tool is the one that we use. This is very different than what your children grew up with in Google Classroom, and perhaps the teachers in elementary school and even currently in high school have included you, have connected you to their Google Classroom so you can see what's going on in the classroom to support their in-person experience. However, we haven't opened that up as a district here, so this is the only way I can show you what's going on inside the classroom, and I hope you enjoy the tour. So one of the things we want to make sure your student does is develop good daily routines, and just as if they were coming to the school physically and walking into a classroom, sitting down and paying attention, and what is on the board, what is the to-do list for today, all of that. It's important for them to develop routines. The routines for a successful e-learning student are to log in daily. They're assigned this course as one of their 4 courses in a semester, and so there's a designated time and in many schools a designated space where they are to go and to log in and to take care of the course. So what we need to do is make sure that they log in and they check to see if they have any message alerts. The red dot indicates they do. Any feedback from any of the discussions they've involved in, and any alerts appear. So these are the 3 icons they should click through first. And then this is the navigation bar. We call that nav bar for short. And this area here is where announcements are made. Over here on the right hand side, there's a way of clicking and booking an appointment for a video conference with me. Down here we have a calendar. Every date that has a blue dot has entries for it. And as we scroll down the announcement area, you will see that the last 2 announcements. Today is September 15th, so the one that was released for this week on this early this morning tells them exactly what are the content they need to cover this week and what work related to their 5-step final project is going to be involved this week, and if there's any quizzes. So that's just an outlook for the week. And then everything that I've explained to you about step-by-step logging in all the way down to reading feedback, all of that is their 10 steps for the day. Once they have looked at the announcements, and sometimes announcements will come up just in time as needed. So for example, I just wanted to make sure that they understood that there's a window of time for their discussions and that they are graded and they will expire. And I've tried to point that out to them. So once they read an announcement, it's their job to declutter their home page by clicking the X and dismissing it. This is what we want to see. They've read through it, they've looked at everything, and they've dismissed it. If they want to get it back, they can just click on announcements and they can see all the announcements from the very first day in early September. Next, they will click on schedule. The schedule is what drives their daily activities. It is color coded, and what you see in gray is what they should have done. And so that is all past due work. And I still have students being added as of today, and I expect that to continue for another week. So with this video going out today, hopefully to new families and those who have their children in since the first day, I just want you to know that you have access to this schedule in the welcome email that I have sent out. If it hasn't landed in your inbox and you would like that, please ask for it. I'd be happy to send it out. Green is the work for today. That's what you're supposed to go for. And special items, for example, a quiz starting or a final step ending, they're highlighted in different colors. Red is the work up ahead, and as the student is finished with the green work, they are welcome to look at the work up ahead, because I understand flexibility is one of the reasons people choose e-learning courses. So let's take a look at a typical lesson. So what you're seeing here is a specific expectation of the curriculum from Ontario. And the specific expectations are clustered into overall expectations, and the overall expectations are clustered into strands. So we have strands alphabetically, A, B, C, D, E, and then within them they're broken down into A1 and A2 as overall expectations, and then A2.2 is today's lesson. So once we're in the greens, let's suppose we're on schedule. We click on content, and on the content we will find all aspects of the course. We spent the first week of the course going through orientation and sharing the course information. And now here we are in strand A. We're in overall expectation A2, and today's lesson is A2.2 presentation skills. So here's that specific expectation again. Here are, in plain English, the 3 learning outcomes we expect them to achieve. These are their learning goals going through this lesson. There's a short video, 1 to 2 minutes, that gets their mind on what it is they're going to be learning through today's lesson. And then we have the structure of the lesson, where there's some reading involved. So there's an introduction, there's content, some management theories are inserted into the content, some examples that are more recent are brought in, and then we do case studies. So for example, a case study between 2 tech firms over here, and their presentation styles is featured in this area. And then there's a comparison piece that helps people put it together. The references are there. And then the conclusion explains why all of this matters. And then there's also a forward-looking hypothesis as to how generative artificial intelligence will play into the content of this lesson. Well, once that reading is done, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if we click on this infographic here, the key points of the lesson are shared here in an infographic. I have to say, it's not sufficient to just look at the infographic and say, oh, I've learned everything that is in there. This is just a summary, but it helps organize things graphically. And then we have a podcast of 2 people discussing the lesson. They're usually about 10 to 16 minutes long, and they can listen to them, with a playback speed a little bit faster if they're able to continue to understand. And then for those who are more visual learners, so far we've dealt with the visual learner, the reader, the listener, and the viewer. So then this is a video again, and this video would encapsulate, basically boil down the essence of the lesson and share it with them. But how do we know the student has actually learned what they're supposed to learn? Well, then we have an artificial intelligence coach check-in, where they will click here, and they don't have to put in their full name even though it asks for it. Here's my first name, and then they just join a space. And you see here, up here, you have the specific expectation, and this artificial intelligence chatbot is now ready to ask them questions, and as they are responding to it, basically it's challenging them and checking their understanding of what they were supposed to learn today. It's accessible through text by writing responses back and forth. It will speak out loud, and the student can also record their voice, so they don't have to touch the keyboard. They can speak in and listen or type in. It's all up to them. And it will give them feedback, and it will also keep a record of their conversations and give me a report as to how well they're exercising their knowledge, what interests they're showing in the topic, where are they making deep dives, what are they confused about. All of that is recorded for review. After that is done, there is a place here for the student to engage in conversation with their classmates. So there's some reflective questions that they would answer in a discussion post, and then after that they would read the posts of their classmates and make some constructive comments and replies to their classmates, hopefully sparking a conversation between classmates. And then after they've engaged with their classmates, before they head off to doing a quiz that actually is graded and used in the calculation of their course grade, they're given a short quiz. And as they go through the 10 multiple choice questions, they will be able to click submit at the end and see a score out of 10. If they're scoring 9 or 10 out of 10, then they've demonstrated a good understanding of today's content. And as they do that with all of the specific expectations, let's say here in A2, these 5 specific expectations, there will then be a graded quiz on A2, and their scores in these, check yourself, check your understanding quizzes will be a good indicator of how well they're going to do on that graded quiz, which is open book, but they really should study with the materials. And they do have 3 attempts over a period of 7 to 8 days. So there's lots of opportunity for them to review their work, give it a try. The quiz will give them results as to what they got right and what they got wrong. If they got something wrong, it'll show them the right answer. And if they don't understand why that is the right answer, they can review again, backing up, perhaps hitting the AI coach, watching the video, listening again to the podcast, reviewing the infographic, and if need be, rereading the lesson. So that's how we are layering out the lessons every single day. If you have questions, if you have comments, please reply to the email that contains this video. I hope this gives you a glimpse into how your student, your child, my student, is learning in this grade 12 business leadership course. Have a wonderful day.